So here's a little video log of the latest build. If you watched my earlier video of the GP76 running, you may have guessed that this is the Raven that's sitting here in front of us. So from front to back, kind of a quick overview of the AJ Aircraft Raven. I am going to run a 24x9 Falcon carbon prop. I have, obviously under the hood, a GP76, one of the first runs of this new model engine, which so far on my couple test runs has been pretty impressive. I can't wait to get this thing in the air with that going on. From there on back, pretty straightforward installation on that. I did use a couple of these 3D printed line holders by Morgan's Custom Printing. They seem to be okay. We'll see how they hold up. I'm running a 24-ounce tank in here. I've got two Pulse Lipos, 2250 milliamp hours for each one of those. Run the Spektrum Powersafe, and all the control surface servos are Savox 1270s, and I've got, I can't remember what's on the throttle, something quick and snappy as far as a Savox servo goes, so we'll see how it goes from there. It's a pull setup. The hardware, and I used all these, are the MKS adjustable hub hardware components. I've got them on all the control surfaces and that, and it makes it really nice since the Savox servos are not programmable like high tech, so you got to kind of mechanically center them first, and being able to position the hub around and then bolt on the arm itself lets you get it as close as you possibly can to center without touching any sub trims either. So that's a good plus in terms of getting a good setup. Let's see, the plane is supposed to be balanced with the canopy off, and the measurement is from the front of the wing tube forward 2¼ inches, and with the GP76, which is a smidge heavier than the DA70 that was built around, balanced right on the money. There's maybe about 2 ounces of fuel in there, but that's pretty close to CG, so I don't see that affecting too much. But as everything is positioned right here with the lighter Savox servos in the tail, everything is by the numbers how it should be. So no aggressive changes had to be made in terms of getting the CG right. Now, when I fly it, we'll see if it needs adjustment a little bit, but I've got a little room to move the batteries back. And if it was really a problem where I was a little bit nose heavy because of the heavier engine, I could always put a little heavier servo in the tail and do that to compensate. So as far as AJ Aircraft goes, I had the pleasure of picking up directly from the AJ Factory World Headquarters in Monroe, Michigan, from Tim Jesky himself, and just an awesome experience. I mean, he helped me get this thing unpacked because I'm actually towing it with a trailer. So there's no way it's going to fit in the car in boxes. And he was there to make sure all the parts were there, make sure I had all the stuff, answered all my questions, and had a bunch of things on hand that I ended up picking up extra, like this servo arm and that. Had that stuff right on the shelf. So really cool experience, and awesome customer service. About the plane itself, I've got a couple extreme flight planes, and they're super nice, and I think they do really well. But as far as my first AJ airplane goes, this thing is built well. It is strong, and there's definitely spots where there's like more wood where I think you would see some of the extreme flight planes kind of hollow them out a little more. But the all-up weight of the plane came out in at 19.9 pounds. And again, that's with just a couple ounces of fuel in the tank too, so that's not quite dry, but close to it. So they're just well built. It just seems to be a really solid airplane. And I've seen a couple of my buddies at my club, trying to rip the wings off these things. They fly them so hard, and they just seem to really hold up well. So for my ever improving 3D novice stature, I think this will be a good plane to keep me moving along there. I mean, I don't know what else to really say about it. I mean, it's just really built well. And during the build, I obviously went through and CA'd every joint I could see or reach, just to make sure that it was all real tight. Went and ironed out all the covering, which may or may not have been necessary, I don't know, but I did it anyways just to make sure everything was sealed down really good. With the GP76, that's the only thing I would tell you. That engine is in fact 5 millimeters longer than the DA70. So if you're going to use the stock standoffs that come with the AJ kit, your GP engine will stick out quite a bit more. I ended up using some SWB standoffs to get the engine in the proper location so the spinner wasn't sticking way out. Let's see, I think that's about it. All the standard kind of build things. This is kind of my first really big plane, so I did get some grommets here. These are just from I think Lowe's, and they have like a drawer full of different sorted grommets, so I put those in there. I use some in where lines go through the firewall for the ignition to kind of clean it up and put a little protection in there so it's not chafing or anything like that. And then I also use some of the snakeskin covering to protect my wires here and there. You can see that kind of done throughout to keep things from rubbing up and all that. And then a little bit of heat shrink tubing over it, kind of where it goes into the tube to get the wires back to the elevator servos. Let's see. So that's it. I think I built it okay. Everything seems to work fine, and again, like I said, it balanced everywhere. I put my ignition light here. It just seemed to be the smart thing to do, as opposed to drill another hole in the outside of the frame with the canopy on, because I didn't put the floor in it. You can look right through the canopy and see the light perfectly fine, so that's cool. I also went with one of these McFueller fuel dots, and while it's a very nice fuel dot, I'm not sure for the 30 or 35 bucks that it cost that it's the bee's knees or not, but it looks good, it functions good. I'm just not certain about that money. Like, I think something not as expensive would probably work just as well, but nonetheless, I bought it and it's there, and that's what I'm using. So everything else on the airplane is stock. There's been no modifications. I used the wheels that came with it. I just made sure that everything was Loctited, including the tail wheel assembly, and that should be it. So hopefully, if I can get one of my pals to do a little videoing for me, I'll do some flight demos and post up some engine RPM numbers once I get this sucker broken in, and we'll see what goes on from there. So thanks a lot for checking it out.